Hi everyone, my name is Abisha Parikh and I'm an immigration attorney with an office in New Jersey. I represent clients in all 50 states as well as internationally, so if you would like to discuss your case, please visit my website to schedule a consultation. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so that you could be notified when a new video is up on my channel. So USCIS is taking longer than ever to process applications. It's very important to know how to speed up your case, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. Also, tip number 4 that I'm going to mention towards the end of this video is something that a lot of people don't know about, so make sure you stick around till the end. Now let's get started. So tip number 1 is to make sure you include all the necessary documents for your case. And the reason I mention that is because whenever you file a case with USCIS, if the case has not been filed completely, meaning if all the required documentation is not included, then USCIS can do something called an RFE. An RFE is a request for evidence. This is something that USCIS will send to you if they feel that you have not included all the important documents with your case. The problem is that an RFE can really delay a case and really drag on a case much longer than needed. The best way to avoid an RFE is to include as much documentation as you can that are pertinent and relevant to your filing. So again, tip number 1 is include all of your required documents for your case to avoid an RFE. The second tip is a process called premium processing. So many of you probably already know about this, but USCIS offers an optional service called premium processing. Premium processing is where you pay an additional fee for your case, and USCIS will process it within 15 calendar days for an additional fee. So with USCIS, some cases can take 6 months, 8 months, or even longer to process. But if premium processing is available, you can pay an additional fee and USCIS will get back to you within 15 calendar days. So it can be a major benefit. Now, a couple of points about premium processing. 1, that it is only available for certain types of cases. It is not available for every type of case. So if you want to do premium processing, make sure your case type is eligible for premium processing. Second thing to keep in mind is that you can make a request for premium processing even after you filed your case. If you filed your case and then you realize you want to do premium processing, you can still do it by paying the additional fee and making the request. So again, tip number 2 is premium processing, which can do wonders for speeding up your case. Now, tip number 3 is called making a service request with USCIS. Basically, a service request is when you inquire with USCIS formally about the status of your case. Now, when making a service request, it's important to know the details of how to do it. An important thing that I do want to mention is that you can only make a service request once your case has been processing outside of normal processing times. So what this means is that USCIS has a resource called the Case Processing Times link. It's a link that you go to and it shows you how long each case type usually processes for. So for example, let's say it takes an I-130 between 6 and 12 months to process. In order to make a service request, you have to make sure your case has been processing beyond the maximum time stated on the Case Processing Time resource page. So you have to make sure that your case was processing beyond the 12 months specified on the USCIS website. Again, so tip number 3 is make a service request with USCIS. Now let's move on to tip number 4. A lot of people don't know about this, but it's called making an expedite request with USCIS. An expedite request is much different than the service request, and it's much different than premium processing. It's its own thing, and basically what it is when you make an expedite request, you're requesting USCIS to basically put your case at the top of the list, focus extra special attention on your case to process it very fast. And a couple of points that I want to mention about an expedite request is that 1, there's a procedure that needs to be followed on how to do it. Firstly, USCIS approves expedite requests on a case-by-case basis. So it's not that every time somebody makes an expedite request, it's automatically going to be approved. USCIS will review a request and will decide to approve or deny it on a case-by-case basis. Another point that I want to mention about the expedite request is that in order to do one, you have to submit documentation supporting your request. So again, there's various reasons why somebody can request expedite processing, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. It's important that when you make a request for expedite processing, you have the documentation to support your request. And the last point about expedited processing I want to mention is that you can only do a request for expedited processing if premium processing does not exist. If premium processing does exist for your case type, you should do the premium processing. But if there's no premium processing for your case type, then you can go ahead with the expedite request. Okay, so I went through a bunch of details about expedited processing. Now I want to mention what they are. The reasons why someone can request expedited processing. So the first reason somebody can request expedited processing is if a person or a business is going to suffer from severe financial loss. If there's a person or a company that's going to suffer from severe financial loss, that can be a basis to request expedited processing. Another reason why somebody could request expedited processing is if there is a humanitarian emergency going on. Another reason why USCIS can approve expedited processing is if it's in the government's interest. So if there's a government interest to speed up processing of a case, USCIS will also consider that. And lastly, another reason why USCIS would consider expedited processing is if there is a significant USCIS error that took place in your case. So if USCIS made an error of some kind in the processing of a case, that can be another basis to do expedited processing. So these were the 4 tips on how to speed up your case with USCIS. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and would like more immigration content, please hit that like and subscribe button. You can also leave a comment below on any immigration topics that you would like for me to cover. Thank you for watching. Bye.